Hello, everybody. This is Teacher Nicole again. We are here for our weekly reading. If in case you don't know me, again, I am Teacher Cole. I am the host and owner of Conquering at Homeschooling. You're welcome to join our group at any time. We talk about our homeschooling adventure, what is successful, what is not. We ask questions and support each other. Today, we are going to be reading the story Arthur's Back to School Day. Now, I know I did change the story. This one was a little more appropriate, and I think we are going to like this a lot. So let's go to our story Arthur's Back to School Day. So, Arthur's Back to School Day. It is written and illustrated by Lillian Hoban. It was the first day of school. Arthur and Violet were waiting for the school bus. They had new lunch boxes. Arthur's was purple and red. Violet's was pink and yellow. I love my lunchbox, said Violet. I love the little plastic box for snacks. Me too, said Arthur. I put some baseball cards in mine so I can trade. I put a secret surprise in mine, said Violet. If you put it in yourself, you can't be surprised, said Arthur. Yes, I can, said Violet. I closed my eyes when I put it in. Norman and his dog Bubbles came down the road. Bubbles was carrying Norman's lunchbox. Look, Arthur, said Violet. Norman's lunchbox is just like yours. Hey, Arthur, called Norman. Do you want to trade baseball cards? I got doubles on some good ones. Let's see, said Arthur. Norman took his baseball cards out of his lunchbox. Arthur took out his baseball cards too. Here comes the school bus, said Violet. Arthur quickly put his baseball cards back in his snack box. Arthur and Violet got on the bus. Norman came running and got on too. Bubbles ran after him. No dogs allowed on the bus, said the driver. He shut the door and drove on. Wait! Yelled Norman. Bubbles has my lunchbox. I can't stop here, said the driver. Look, said Violet. Bubbles is running after the bus. All the children stood up to look. Come on, Bubbles, shouted Arthur. You can do it! Yay, Bubbles! Everyone cheered. Remember your safety rules, called the driver. No standing or shouting on the school bus. Oh no, cried Norman. Everything is falling out of my lunchbox. All the children crowded to the back of the bus to see. Safety rules! Yelled the driver. Please go back to your seats. There goes your apple, Norman, said Arthur. It's bouncing down the road. I didn't have an apple, said Norman. Norman's snack box just fell in the dirt, said Violet. Let me see, said Wilma. She stood up on the seat. I can't see Bubbles anymore, said Wilma. Safety rules! Safety rules! Yelled the driver. No standing on the seats. The bus pulled up in front of the school. Just then, Wilma's big sister Mabel rode up on her bike. "Whose lunchbox is this?" she asked. "It's mine! It's mine!" yelled Norman. "Your lunch was all over the road," said Mabel, "but I put it back in your lunchbox." "I'm glad you got your lunch back," said the bus driver, "but you kids need to learn your safety rules." The children got off the bus. Inside the school, there was a big sign. It said, "Welcome to the new school year." "Good morning, boys and girls," said a voice over the loudspeaker. "This is your principal, Mr. Adams. All classes, please come to the auditorium." When they got to the auditorium, Mr. Adams said, "Today is the first day of school. It is important that you learn some safety rules. Can anyone give me a safety rule for riding on the school bus and tell me why it is important?" Arthur raised his hand. "No standing on the bus," he said, "because if the bus hits a bump, you might fall and get hurt." Norman raised his hand. "No pushing or shoving," he said, "because you could get knocked down and your loose tooth might get bonked out." Violet raised her hand. "No dogs on the bus," she said, "because the driver might be scared of dogs and run off the road." "Very good," said Mr. Adams. "Now go back to your classrooms and write down all those safety rules and any more you can think of." All the children went to their classrooms. Arthur and Norman went to Miss Wilson's class. On the way, Norman said to Arthur, "I can't wait for recess to trade baseball cards." "I can't wait to eat my snack," said Arthur. "I have an apple and 2 chocolate chip cookies." In the classroom, the children drew pictures of a school bus. Arthur colored his bus black. Under the picture, he wrote all the safety rules he could think of. Then he yawned and looked around. Everyone was still writing. Arthur closed his eyes. He thought about his snack. He could almost taste the chocolate chip cookies. Bring! A bell rang. "Recess!" said Miss Wilson. "Come on, Arthur," said Norman. "Let's go trade." Arthur and Norman took their lunch boxes out to the school yard. "Arthur," called Violet, "I just opened my snack box and found my secret surprise." "Well," said Arthur, "I know what is in my snack box, and it's no surprise." Arthur opened his lunch box and took out the snack box. But he was surprised. Instead of chocolate chip cookies, there were cheese crackers under the baseball cards. "Phooey!" said Arthur. "This is not my snack." Norman was looking at in his lunchbox. He held up a dusty apple. "I can't eat apples," he said. "I have a loose front tooth." "That's my apple," said Arthur. "And that's my lunch." Arthur took the lunchbox from Norman. He looked inside the snack box. "My chocolate chip cookies are gone!" he cried. "Bubbles loves chocolate chip cookies," said Norman. "He probably ate them." "Oh, no!" cried Arthur. Violet came running over. She was holding something behind her back. "Guess what my secret surprise is?" she said. "Oh, phooey!" said Arthur. "I don't want to guess.